I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
We're the Rambling Reviewers.
And today we're looking at the series finale of Doctor Who for what is the number of this series? I forgot to look it up.
Season whatever.
I'll go frick it. You go talk to him about it.
Okay. So, to be honest, this is the first season that they had, Peter Capaldi as the Doctor. And gotta be honest, the season was not really impressing me. We had some okay episodes, but the Doctor came off as an arrogant jerk. More so than usual. And it had some truly awful episodes. Kill the Moon just pissed me the hell off. And
yeah,
the
I remember watching that with you. We nearly stopped watching it. We had to pause it every few seconds so you could be like, screw the Doctor and all this.
Okay, yes. I will try to keep that down in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead. This is, though, the season finale, the series finale.
Yeah, and then they had the wretched episode with the trees, where, honestly, the Doctor could have skipped that week, and all the problems would have been solved even without him. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. This episode was... It made up for the season.
It was a fun sci-fi romp.
They went balls to the wall on this one. Just all-out insanity. This is just like Army of Ghosts and Doomsday in many ways, which were, until today, my favorite Doctor Who episodes.
Ooh. Quite a thing to measure up to.
Yeah. For those who don't remember, it was the episode where the Cybermen fought an army of Daleks. But this one, okay, it starts out with Clara looking over a bunch of Post-it notes and calling Danny.
Yeah, we thought that was going to be a bigger deal of, like, there was some conspiracy she was on to or something, and she had to tell him about for some reason. It would all be revealed. And I guess it ended up being just, she felt guilty that she'd been lying to him all this time. Okay.
And while she's talking to him, he gets run over by a car.
Yeah!
That's a thing.
That's a thing.
This is a thing that happened.
Wow, he just died all of a sudden.
Yeah, he died and,
Okay, it's Series 8, people. Now you know.
Yeah, so New Who Series 8. So, yeah, Danny is dead.
Ah!
This is before the main credits start.
This is before anything begins, yeah. Yeah.
So then Clara tries to break into the... Okay, calls the Doctor down, tries to break in... No, steals all his TARDIS keys, and says, "Take me to Danny, bring him back to life, or I will destroy all these TARDIS keys," by throwing them into a volcano. And then the Doctor reveals, "Oh, no, wait, you never did any of that because it was a dream patch that I put on you when you tried to do it to me."
Yeah.
That was weird, but okay, yeah, it was weird.
Honestly, it wasn't until just now I realized, was they not standing at the volcano in the first place? Because I thought what it was that he, mesmerized her for a minute with that patch and then replaced all the keys with fake keys, and that actually happened at the volcano. But I guess it makes more sense. They were never at the volcano. That was what they were saying. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then the Doctor's like, "Okay, you betrayed me. You betrayed my trust. Blah blah blah. Go to hell." And
no, she says, "What are we gonna do now?" And he says, "Go to hell."
Then they try to do that. They try to go.
No, literally, we're going to hell this episode. We're going to where? Of course, we knew they were building up to this Nethersphere thing the whole season.
Yeah, with Missy. And quite honestly, I didn't like Missy through most of the season. Just, she seemed very... I don't know, I didn't like her personality. I mean, I can like a villain's personality. I mean, Lord Zed. Discord.
Yeah, I definitely Discord.
Darth Vader.
Definitely Darth Vader.
Okay, but yeah, but I didn't like Missy's personality. She was just, I don't know.
Well, you never saw much of her to know her personality. Once you found out her personality in this episode, then it was awesome.
Yeah. But anyways, so we finally meet the Doctor finally meets Missy for the first time. Wink. Wink.
Oh, dear.
But it cuts to, the perspective cuts back and forth between Doctor and Clara in this place called 3W Industries or something.
They call themselves 3W as far as I know, yeah.
Yeah, 3W. And Danny, who's inside the Nethersphere, which is the heaven dimension that people keep getting transported to.
It's a gigantic city thing. And there's a
It's
bureaucrat
like
who talks to you when you
It's like
show up.
inside of a Dyson sphere, except without the sun in the center.
Yeah, they didn't need one, I guess. I don't. They're all dead anyway. So.
Yeah. So, anyways, Clara and the Doctor used psychic thingies to go to 3W, and they meet Missy, who claims to be a robot.
Yeah, she acted normal at first, and then she acted like, "Oh, I'm a robot" for all of 1 minute, and they're like, "Nah, never mind, I'm not a robot." Let's learn a little bit about how she thinks.
Yeah. So, anyways, and then they talk to this guy who says at one point some guy figured out that hey,
It turns out dead people are still conscious, and they can feel everything their bodies feel, apart from rotting, I suppose.
And the 3W refers to 3 words. The first 3 words they ever decrypted from this psychic signal from the dead that they managed to translate. The 3 words are, "Don't cremate me."
Yeah, that's neatly horrifying. That's classic Who-style horror.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, and the whole time that they've been here, they've been walking past these giant water tanks with corpses sitting down inside of them. And
they mentioned they have an invisible exoskeleton that you can't see when it's in the water, and Matt and I looked at each other and went, "Cyberman."
Yep. And later they demonstrated that this is some sort of black water where you can stick your only organic matter is visible through it. So they use this to try to talk to... Clara tries to use this to talk to Danny, who's inside the nether sphere, because you can...
She uses this other little device they have, not the water.
Yeah. Well, the Doctor tries to go around and is like, "Darn it, all of this feels really familiar, but I can't put my finger on it." And then the doors close. It's the eyes of a Cyberman.
It's the eyes of it's a clever thing to do. The logo of the place is a big circle and this little circle on the side.
And you think, oh, this is like new age, not new age, super modern artistic style crap.
Yeah, and then these 2 doors close and one's the opposite of the other. Like, "Oh, Cyberman eyes."
Well, Cyberman music is playing as the door closes.
Yeah.
Missy's in the middle of all those tanks that I mentioned earlier. She looks around and she says something like, "It's time to wake up," or something. She doesn't say that, but she says something else.
Yeah.
And the water starts draining, and it's Cybermen inside the tanks.
Yeah, you were saying, wouldn't it be so cool if they just, like, the corpse, the skeleton gets up, punches its way through the tank, and as water drains away, only where there isn't water you see metal. But that'd be so hard in the special effects department.
It would, but wouldn't that... Can't you just see that visual of, like... No, even better, like, for some reason, it dries off as it passes through the glass. It punches through, and, like, you see a corpse arm up to its forearm, and then sticking outside of the glass is this Cyberman arm.
Yeah.
And it pulls back in, and water starts pouring out and cracks open.
Yeah, that would be cool. Cool. So we got Cybermen all of a sudden. Boom. All right, cool. And Missy mentions, "Oh yeah, but the Nether Sphere. It's funny, the people in there think they're in heaven." And you're like, "Oh, so that's not the afterlife. Interesting. Okay."
So the Doctor runs outside to try to warn everyone that the Cybermen are trying to get free,
Yeah.
except that it's not a normal building. It's a church.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure there's a name for this church we don't know. It's a famous church in London, I guess.
But it's the same
in
church.
Britain, at least.
It's the same church that in the first episode of this series, that robot guy fell and impaled himself on.
That's right.
Yeah. So the Doctor is trying to warn everyone, "Look out, there's Cybermen everywhere! Run for your lives!" And people, being the wise and intelligent beings that they are, start taking selfies with them. Because this is a small...
Yeah.
God, I can't even complain because that's pretty accurate to what people would really do.
Yeah. Especially all the Who fans, they'd be like, "Wow, look at the cosplay."
Yeah. Of course, Who doesn't really exist.
Yeah,
But whatever. Suddenly, and Missy walks out and she says, "Oh yeah, look at this. See, everyone's totally fine. Do you want to know the biggest tactical advantage that the human race has?"
Yeah, the biggest weakness of the human race.
"The dead outnumber the living." Which Sonic and I were like,
It's true of every race.
Yeah, that's true of like literally every species.
Unless you have really insane population growth.
Yeah.
And long lifespans, I guess.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that.
So So anyways, he says, "Who are you? Who are you?" Oh, didn't you tell? Oh, earlier it was mentioned, this is not a robot or a human. 2 hearts. It's a time lady.
Time lady.
Okay,
and
now,
we were like speculating at
because
commercials
we had
and stuff.
to we had to leave for a thing. Like at the 45-minute mark, so we were speculating. Oh, could this be? Is this Susan? Is this Romana?
I was like, yeah,
is this
please
Ronnie?
don't make Susan evil. That'd be crazy. Yeah, but Romana or the Ronnie, I thought.
Oh
could
no!
be.
But it turned out to be ever so much better and worse at the same time. The reason that she's called Missy is not because it's some stupid AI acronym. It's because it's short for mistress. Because I can't very well call myself the master in this body, now can I?
Ta-da! The master's back. I have no idea how. Last seen wrestling. What's his name?
Rassilon.
Rassilon, while going through the portal leading to Gallifrey, kind of.
So yeah, so the Master is back
Something
with
happened.
an army of Cybermen created by harvesting the dead. This is the best plan ever.
And it gets weirder too.
And more
Can't believe
awesome
that.
at the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where the first episode ends of the 2-part finale. Then in the second part, it gets stranger because everyone's still wondering about. All of a sudden, all the civilians in the area start grabbing guns and pull them on the Master and the Cybermen.
So they weren't taking selfies, really. It was like Unit moves in. Like, oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's Unit acting intelligently.
Yeah.
The Briggs' daughter is back, and so is that girl who was wearing the bow tie.
Bow tie, and she's known for having the inhaler.
And they're back, and they're like, yeah, we were investigating 3Ws for a long time.
And we got a mysterious call from a woman with a Scottish accent. Because it turns out she wanted to get captured, because Unit gets involved, which then makes the Doctor president of the world. Turns out that's a thing now. And because she wants to put the Doctor in a position of power to show him how evil he is, essentially. It's like even weirder than you were expecting.
Okay, but before that, all the Cybermen fly up into the air except one. And they precisely calculated the number of Cybermen. 1 for each major city in London.
Or Great Britain.
Whatever.
Every city in London. That's interesting.
That'd be
How many cities are there in Chicago, I wonder?
1. There's 1 city in Chicago.
Okay.
But anyways, all of them explode. But they're not just stupidly exploding because they were robots made to explode. Which, to be totally honest with the Master, that would not surprise me. But no, they explode because they're composed entirely of nanites that burrow into the ground in the form of rain clouds and infect the recently dead with nanomachines that replicate themselves and turn the recently dead into Cybermen.
Yes, and then it turns out the recently dead who were converted into Cybermen are, for an hour or two, idiot Cybermen. Oh, okay, I guess we'll just wander around for a bit here and get our bearings. While nobody at all shows up to shoot us. That was a little odd in retrospect.
Yeah.
Also, when Unit had all their guns drawn on the Cybermen and the Cybermen fly away, nobody tried to shoot them as they were leaving either. But oh well.
Cybermen can fly now, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
They have Tony Stark Iron Man flying technology.
Yep.
Oh, and Danny is back as a Cyberman.
Yeah, and who feels awful being a Cyberman. I guess, especially when Clara tells him, oh, the Doctor's the one I trust the most, not realizing he's alive. But seriously, I think you should forgive her for that one, because she thought he was dead.
Yeah.
She's not like, oh, that Danny guy, I never liked him to begin with.
That'd be great if that scene did
That
happen.
would be terrible.
And then he opens his mouth. You know I was lying, right? BAM! I'm not advocating violence towards women. I'm not for advocating violence towards inconsiderate jerks. But, okay, so here's the plan at this stage. The Master has come back to life as a woman, has been collecting the souls of dead people throughout all of time and space. Now she's going to fly around the world with an army of Cybermen who self-destruct, spreading nanites that will bring the dead back to life as an army of cyborg zombies that she will rule over and then give control of to the Doctor. So in a sense, I'm giving you an army of robots to do with as you will to cleanse the world of evil.
this is the bad guy's plan. This is not normal, man. It'd be
Yeah.
like Rita Repulsa going, Power Rangers, here's my monster-making machine. Now go and stop evil people. What the hell? I mean, it's gloriously insane, as you would expect from the Master.
Fit the Master really well, and
the reveal of the Master is just brilliantly done, because no one suspected it.
yeah, I did not suspect
Okay, some people might have suspected
I'm
it.
sure
but
someone did on the internet, but I did not suspect that, to be honest.
it was just, wow.
And of course, now, in retrospect, it's like, of course, they, all the cast members, one of the writers or somebody it was in an interview going like, oh yes, we cast so and so as, what do they call her, like Queen of the Nethersphere or something. It's a great role and we think she's gonna do well in it, and like not telling you at all. No, we just cast the Master, who's totally playing off the previous Master, whatever that actor's name was, with the the gas,
The blonde guy.
yeah.
But yeah,
Totally doing that mode of things, as opposed to very old school Master, who was actually quite serious.
yeah. I'd like it if they switch back and forth between those two every now
Yeah,
and then.
but this one, I like this one.
Oh yeah, definitely. This one's really good. So the Doctor has to then make a choice for some reason. See, Clara and Danny are in a cemetery full of drunken Cybermen. That is a sentence that I had to say. No, sorry, I can make that sillier. The Doctor, after being ejected from a plane, skydives into his TARDIS and time and space warps over to where Cyborg Danny and Clara are fiddling around trying open heart surgery on a cyborg to try to remove his emotions, while a bunch of drunken Cybermen are stumbling around in the background. I made it sillier.
Yes, you did.
And Danny delivers an excellent "shut the hell up, stop insulting me" thing.
Yeah, they Moffat has played a lot with, is the Doctor really a good person, or is he become kind of evil by the ends justify the means? Not like completely evil, but like a little too far has he gone, which I guess that goes all the way back to the Davies era of when
The Torchwood Manor, or
the Torchwood stuff, yeah. Or
I
I was thinking of Donna telling him, "You can stop killing all the Rachnos now." Remember that? There's this play on the Doctor. Sometimes he goes too far, he goes too crazy, he becomes a little bit evil. And you could say that maybe they're doing this a bit too often, but they did it well in this two-parter. This is interesting because it's Danny is upset at being dead and a Cyberman, which I think would upset most people.
That's a pretty fair assessment.
I'd like to see someone call into like a therapy helpline, on the radio like that. Oh, caller, what's your problem? Well, I'm dead and I'm a Cyberman and I'm being programmed to take over the world.
But I'm actually feeling pretty okay about this. Yeah. But I'm feeling pretty okay about this. What I'm upset is my girlfriend left me because of it.
Yeah. I mean, she left me just because I'm a Cyberman. I mean, come on.
Look, just because I don't have reproductive organs anymore.
Oh, dear. So he's telling Clara, please, activate the inhibitor and turn off all my emotions. Which, by the way, was another quirk in the plot of People in the Nethersphere. They intentionally confront them with distressing things so they can be persuaded to turn off their own emotions.
I didn't get that they were doing that.
Yeah, that's why they bring back the kid. And I guess, Clara was going to call anyway, but that's why they sent the call through, is to make Danny feel more upset. Okay, so she's saying, okay, maybe I'll essentially turn off Danny's soul so he won't feel pain anymore. I'm basically going to kill him. And the Doctor shows up to give a moving speech about the value of pain and human emotions and stuff. And then Danny turns it around on him and says, look, I can't access the Cyberman internet to tell you the evil plan so you can save the world unless you kill my emotions. And suddenly the Doctor's stuck. Because that is the thing you would kind of do. I have to make these sacrifices, and I just talked about how we shouldn't make those sacrifices, but, well, gee, now that I have a tactical advantage, it's like, oh, wow, it's really quite a moral dilemma you have there. Interesting.
So he hands it off to Clara to do it. Well, actually, no, Clara volunteers to do it.
Still, he hands it off to her once she volunteers.
Yeah.
Hands her the screwdriver, so she can turn off his emotions. And then the Master shows up and goes to the whole, I'm giving you the bracelet to let you to control this Cyberman army and do whatever the frick you want with it. Go sort of save the universe and, lose your soul in the meantime, I guess.
Which, it's, like I said, it's a strange plan. Now, villain hero, I'm going to give you all the power in the universe! Ha 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 ha! This is usually the kind of thing we mock them for, but really, it's an ingenious plan.
It says something interesting about the Master's psychology that she, I have to keep saying, instinctively I want to say he, that she really cares about the Doctor and actually wants to reforge their friendship and even thinks of him romantically, I would imagine. I mean, the ho-yay is through the roof now. People were always saying, oh, the Doctor and the Master, they hate each other, but maybe they secretly love each other. And I was like, that's silly. And then they're playing it up even more now.
Yeah.
Forget.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And the Doctor even referenced that I had a friend once, when I was young, and we would run together, and yeah, okay, interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So, then the Doctor gives another speech, because the Doctor can do two things in the universe. Fiddle with the sonic screwdriver, and give speeches. Those are the two things he is best at. And he gives a speech about how he's a friggin' idiot. And see, this next scene, okay, they foreshadowed it a bit because because they said, they had the Master going, okay, all Cybermen, raise your arms, lower your arms, and then do all these stupid little things.
Give a safety demonstration.
Yeah. But what they didn't, they glossed over it a bit, but the Cyberman that was Danny wasn't doing anything.
Because it turns out killing someone's soul doesn't actually kill their soul, which I kind of thought would happen. Yeah, it was too tragic to actually kill Danny, but okay, it was still good.
Yeah, so it turns out that Danny actually kept his free will. And the plan was that all the nanites in the cloud would rain down again, except it would kill every single person on the planet.
Apparently it takes a while to build up the cyanide nanites, or whatever they're using.
And then it would raise them up as, new techno-zombies. Danny kept his soul, so the Doctor turned over control of all the Cybermen in the world over to Danny, who orders them all to fly into the clouds and self-destruct, burning them to nothingness.
Which is a thing Cybermen can do now, by the way. But
yeah.
Not only can they explode in a regular sense, and they can explode in a cloud pollen nanite generating sense, but they can third-wise explode in a burn-up aforementioned cloud pollen sense.
Well, it's an army composed of all the dead ever, so I'm thinking the explosive yield of that probably could
Yeah, I guess so. Whatever.
Let's ignore the fact that might also ignite the atmosphere and cleanse it clean of all life, but whatever.
Yeah, it all works out somehow.
Yeah. So, and then the Master... Then Clara... Okay, that's done. Danny is really and truly dead. We made sure of it this time.
And then guess what? He's not.
I know. It's even sillier later.
It's just like Rory compressed into one episode. He died twice in this episode. Came back twice.
Okay, so...
Also, Clara had a thing of dying several times. Dang you, Moffat. What is it with you and death? Though, honestly, it still was a great episode.
Oh, yeah.
But he has this thing with nobody ever dying.
So, and then, next...
Clara pulls out the Master's laser gun thing that she was using to evaporate people. And says, if you don't stand aside, I am going to murder the fuck out of this lady.
And if you do stand aside, I'll kill her anyway.
Yeah, I phrased that wrong. I apologize sincerely, ladies and gentlemen. It's like, yeah, look, I'm going to kill you. Because, Doctor, if you don't let me kill her, you'll be condoning everything that happened today. She says it better so that it doesn't sound quite as stupid coming from my mouth. But still. And so, the Doctor says, no, don't do it. You're going to let her live? Oh, I didn't say that. I'm just saying let me do it. So you don't have the death on your conscience. And he holds out the blaster. And then a blast of blue shoots out from off screen. And the blast had always been seen as red before. And we turn, and we see a Cyberman standing there, and he's pointing just off screen.
I thought it was Danny. And then guess what?
Oh, no. We're getting there.
Yeah.
And the Brigadier's daughter, when the Master had escaped on board the plane earlier, there was a plane, we didn't mention it.
Earth Force One, or whatever they called it.
Yeah. But she had fallen out of the plane, and we thought, oh, she's either dead, or she's going to get caught by the Doctor, and she's going to come out of the TARDIS. I mean, we'd seen him do that with River. So... she's just lying there in the grass, completely unharmed. And Clara says, she's talking about her father. And there have been multiple mentions of her father and how his biggest goal was to have the Doctor salute him. And we turn, and we just know that Cybermen is... All the Cybermen were made from the recently deceased. And who died like 2 years ago was considered recent. The guy who played the Brig. And by extension, the Brig.
Yeah. Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart.
Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, Cyberman, murdered the Master with a laser beam and then saved his daughter. Probably not in that order. So the Doctor salutes the Brig. The Brig taps his heels together and flies away like Iron Man made of awesome.
And apparently now he's immortal and will go, like, keep saving the world forever now. Because he doesn't need to burn up like all the other ones.
So, to finish, this episode involved the Master creating an army of robot zombies and was defeated by being killed by zombie cyborg Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. This is the best episode of Doctor Who ever.
Yeah. Yeah. This is how it's supposed to be. It's like, how do I say this? It's crazy in a good way.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, you can break all sorts of laws of physics and stuff so long as it fits for the narrative. And we were pissed off with the 2013 specials was that they broke all the narrative rules. The silents were good for no reason, right?
Yeah.
And, like, they were priests for no reason, too. And, like...
They were confession priests, even though we were discussing this in the car when, like, in between the parts of the episode, and we were like, hey, yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be better to confess and know that you confess these things so that the stress is lifted from you?
Shouldn't the priest erase his own memory and not yours? But, you know, like, it just... Thematically, it just didn't feel right, and it was also very confusing. And this was less confusing, silly in a sense, but
well,
thematically worked.
But let's put it this way: Doctor Who has always been a little silly. It's best when it's silly.
I remember when I was first getting into Who, and I saw occasional episodes on someone else's TV, and I caught on to this notion that they have a very loose sense of canon, where you can basically make up anything in any episode so long as it's a fun idea, and we'll take it. It doesn't have to be like Star Trek would at least try to be like, oh, it's based on this thing we talked about last season or so, this episode, whatever. And this is more like, no, we're going to a weird planet with a weird thing, and it happens in this weird way. These are the rules of the episode. Go, and we would go with it as long as it was a good idea, you know, as long as it was something fun.
And then before he died, the Master revealed Gallifrey.
You just gave the coordinates to Gallifrey and said we could go together, and, like, you'll be in chains. If that's the way you want. Oh, stop doing the ho-yay. Or faux-yay, really.
And then suddenly, something beams in. Oh, my. And then beams out.
George Takei for the win.
Takei! It's okay to be Takei. Let's rejoice with the boys. Okay, but next on the list,
explain what happened with his second resurrection, because I did not get that at all for Danny.
Okay.
As cool as it was, I was like, did they film this episode a little too long and they had to cut the scene where they explained this?
Okay, I have no idea what the fuck happened.
She gets a whisper when Clara hears her name, and she gets up. And she's this white, glowy thing that pulses when it talks.
Because apparently Daniel Jackson decided to pop in when he was ascended.
Yeah, why not? And she's like, oh, the doctor told me about the bracelet and how it could take you away to another place, but you can get back.
Which okay, A, when was it stated that it could do this? B, wasn't that destroyed when Danny, you know, what was the word I'm looking for? Fucking exploded?
Does the bracelet bring you back from being exploded first and then teleport you to another afterlife?
Is this like the portal to heaven? Is this the real heaven that the Master was just...
Is this just even, like, another planet and we can't see it clearly because of the portal technology? No, it can't be, though, because then the doctor could just go there in the TARDIS.
Yeah. And so Danny says... The bracelet can only bring one person through, and he sends through this kid that he accidentally killed back when he was a soldier.
That was really good the way they brought that back, and the way he talked to that kid earlier. That was a neat idea. You go to
and the kid
sphere, and the kid's like, "Oh, hi, you killed me. Oh shit."
Yeah, you got the idea that the kid was really scared of him, and then you're like, "Yeah, that makes sense. You know, he killed him. He shot him in the face with an M16 or something. I don't know if it was an M16. I don't know what. Hang on. I don't know my guns.
Point is, the kid died. And he was very sad.
Yeah,
about
but
it.
now he's back from outer space. He just walked in fine to here with that said look upon her face.
Yeah.
And the bracelet comes through too, and it turns off. You know,
Because
because
bracelets do that.
yeah,
You know,
we couldn't possibly find like some 9 volts or
I mean, I would take it if it was explained earlier. Just, I don't know. The Master has a portal to heaven or something. I don't.
Why do you have a portal to heaven?
I don't know what happened. I really feel that this could easily have been a scene that was cut, because sometimes they do release. I remember A Christmas Carol. There was the version I saw, I think on DVD, and then we saw it broadcast, recorded. And it was shorter, and there was several bits that I liked that weren't there anymore. I was like, oh, they actually filmed 2 versions of this. So maybe, I don't know. Do standard episodes do that too sometimes? Extended version?
Sometimes.
I hope
Like the
so.
episode Pegasus from Battlestar Galactica had an extended cut because the first version was a little too graphic for the broadcast television.
Huh. All right. So, anyway, he saved that kid, though. Good for him. And then the Doctor and Clara meet up, and they do this weird double lying conversation that's all, like, tragic, but you understand it at the same time. Where Clara is saying, I've got some bad news for you, which Sith King was going, geez, no one ever gives me good news. Something
It's
like,
true.
hey, Doctor, I
Everyone's
baked you
always-
a cake.
It's always, Doctor, I'm the last of my species and I'm being hunted by xenomorphs and my blood tastes like candy, so they're really, really eager to find me. And then when he gets there, I'm already dead. It's never good news. Ever. No one's ever just like, hey Doc, how's it going? One thing I liked about Eleven's run is that Amy and Rory came out and they were like, hey, we set you an extra place for Christmas dinner. It was
Yeah.
like, thank you.
That was nice.
Thank you for showing him a little fucking appreciation.
But anyway, so he's like, oh, I know already, and I know what you're gonna say is you're quitting being a companion. You want to be together with Danny. And to make that okay for her to quit, because he thinks that's what she wants, he says, I found Gallifrey. And we see actually he went and found nothing. Which I was a little confused. I was like, did Gallifrey get Alderaan? And that's the point of this?
Is it invisible?
Is it
Gallifrey's
invisible?
invisible!
It's probably just the Master lied. That's all. The Master lied. But he lies to her, and then she, thinking that's the truth, continues with her bit of, oh, sure, yeah, of course I'm with Danny, and we're fine, so please go off and find Gallifrey if you kind of don't want me anymore, you know. So, wow, that's a thing, and then he walks away, and it's all tragic. They hug first, and he walks away, it's all tragic. And then the credits, and we're like, wow, that was a thing. And thank goodness you didn't, like, pause and delete the episode as soon as the credits hit. Because suddenly the Doctor was on the screen again. Wait, what? Wait, go back. Wait,
And this guy, Doctor's moping in his TARDIS, and this guy that sounds like Wheatley suddenly starts speaking through the door. And you're like, what the hell? What's going
I was
on?
like, wait, is this a guy we know? Do we know
And
this guy?
so the Doctor opens the door, and the person says, well, Doctor, there's a question I need to ask you. What do you want for Christmas? And it's Santa Claus! Santa Claus is in the TARDIS, and the Doctor's just like, oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Oh, what?
So the Christmas special will have the Doctor teaming up with Santa and his elves. This is the best episode. This is the absolute best episode.
So many ideas thrown around in such a fun and funny way. I just okay. You remember in Voyage of the Damned? That was just after he lost. What was that? The one where the Doctor was on the Titanic. He had no companion then. Who was just before that? Was that? That was.
I want to say Martha,
Was that Martha
but
then?
that
He had
I
just
could be
lost.
wrong.
And it's like
Technically, it was just after Time Crash, because Time Crash takes place in between the end of that episode and the beginning of the next one.
so. What's that? What's the one previous to Time Crash? See, clearly we need to know more things.
Yes.
But anyway, the point was that he was in there and moping that he didn't have a companion anymore, and then the Titanic smashes through the side of the TARDIS. Like,
Oh my god.
more things happening. So that's cool.
Oh my god.
That's
So
really
this
cool.
episode.
Okay, that came after Last of the Time.
So it
the
was
chocolate
Martha.
fade and everything. Yeah, Martha. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so my opinion of this episode, it more than makes up for the really, really shitty episodes before this one.
I mean, I didn't hate any of the previous episodes. I have not hated any new Who episode, to be honest.
Okay, I don't hate. I merely strongly dislike in many cases. Hate is too strong a word. Royal Canterlot Wedding does get my hate, though. My hatred will never die.
Good to know.
But to be more serious, though, this was probably the best episode I've seen in a long time. It was silly, it was fun, it was dramatic, it was surprising, it had revelations, it had...
The Master was a girl who was acting like the Master the whole time, playing around with things. What was it? She killed the what do you call the lady with the breath thing? What do you call those?
Breathalyzers?
No.
Inhalers.
Inhalers. Okay. She killed that. She did this whole like, can you come over here? I want to tell you something. And you just tell me. Well, I have to whisper it to you. And you and I are like, oh, we have a plan for that. Like, it's like a microphone on a big boomstick. Okay, now you can whisper it. Not coming over there. In any case, it turned out going over there was not part of the plan at all. He's just wanted to whisper to be creepy, and then teleported. Like, not like with a glow, like off screen, just suddenly I'm right next to you from across the room and behind you and killed those two guards somehow. I don't know how that happened, but okay.
Yeah, the guards didn't even move or fire anything. The doctor should have told him, hey, this is the fucking Master. You should, if she twitches wrong, shoot her.
You should just have a whole solid wall of guards surrounding you. But,
no,
okay.
Actually better. The Americans probably still have that, like, neutron star prison thing.
That'd be cool.
Stick her in there. Remember from...
yeah, I remember it. Yeah, I'm just figuring out other things. Like, how did the Master get here at all? From Gallifrey or from wherever she landed?
Is there a TARDIS somewhere on Earth that we've been missing? Or did the Master take that apart in order to make the Nether Sphere?
I mean...
Would not be the first time the Master has disassembled his TARDIS in order to build shit.
Well, last time they disassembled the Doctor's TARDIS in order to build the Paradox.
Okay, yes, but there's been other times.
But, I mean, we're going to get into that? Is there an actual... Gallifrey? I don't know. I will say it was dumb the way they saved Gallifrey before, where it was, quote, saved like a painting, and I had no idea what that meant, and I guess she escaped from the painting or something. Oh, whatever. But it was cool bringing it up in this episode, because it was a better episode. Yeah, just so many moments. Not much in the way of flaws. I mean, I could say of certain things of, this idea has come up before. A death-based Earth-wide invasion via Cybermen. We did see that in Army of Ghosts, which is the first part of the
Army of Ghosts Doomsday 2-part, which had the Daleks versus Cybermen.
No, this is another cool episode. This is like the zillionth time we've talked about companions who die and come back. Because we had Rory do that a lot, we've had Clara do that a lot, and we had Pink do that twice in one episode. So that happens a lot. The questioning about how the Doctor, and is he quite good or is he evil, comes up, but none of this actually bored me. None of this was like, oh, I've seen it, because it was still interesting spins on old things.
You don't necessarily, just because you're working with a cliched idea, an idea that's been done before, doesn't necessarily make it a bad idea.
Yeah, they spun it well, I thought. Moffat can't let anyone die, but okay, Moffat, that's your thing.
Yeah. Well, he did. Pink.
No, not Pink. He's in heaven now.
But that means he's dead.
I know, but you know what I mean. Just like regular dead. Nobody's ever regular dead. I mean, I guess
technically Pink was for a little while.
Oh, you know what I mean. Like, we can't talk to him anymore dead. And for permanently. That never happens.
Isn't that the definition of dead? You can't talk to them anymore permanently?
Yeah, or more properly, they don't talk to you.
Okay, yes, I get what you're trying to say. Just...
but oh well.
This episode was just a boatload of great.
It was fun. It was freaking Santa Claus in the end. It was like
it was Santa Claus coming in like Howard the Duck at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy.
It begins the credits, and then suddenly, boom! Suddenly, a random character you never thought you'd ever see in this universe.
You know what it is? It's the adult version of kids playing pretend. Like, we will come up with all sorts of random ideas, and that's okay, and it's fun, and we'll just do whatever feels fun. That's a large part of what Doctor Who has always been about.
Yeah.
And they did it. And I'm
And
glad
they did
for
it well.
Yeah. Now we're gonna meet Santa Claus. And probably Clara's coming back.
Oh.
Probably, I don't know if she'll come back in the episode, but Santa did say, you can't leave it like that. You know, she's not doing well, and neither are you, because I guess Santa's a mind reader now.
Well, dude, he's not. He doesn't have to be a mind reader. He knows when you are sleeping. He knows when
you're awake. Yeah.
He knows if you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. God,
You-
what is it with you and not knowing Santa's powers? He has super speed because he can get to every house on the planet. He has a legion of flying animals to do his bidding, an army of servants to make toys, magic, lots of magic, shape-shifting, because how else do you think he gets down all those chimneys?
True. Got some Captain Atom powers or something.
Yeah, the ability to pass through locked doors.
But I'm just thinking now of that scene where in the previous episode, Doctor had asked Clara, am I a good man? And he could ask Santa, and he would say, well, he just grabs the list. Yes, you are. Oh, okay then.
Well, I actually can't tell. We're going to have to bring two loads. One's toys, the other's coal.
You know, that whole tradition was more merciful back in the day. People used to burn coal to keep warm. And the idea was if you didn't get a toy, at least you were not going to die. Which I guess the implication is if you got a toy, there was also coal in your house, because otherwise you would have preferred the coal. So the lesson is Santa only gives presents to people with coal.
Santa's helping to propagate the fossil fuel industry.
Ah,
He's in the pocket of big coal.
Big coal.
I was kidding.
Big coil. I don't know.
Big coil.
Is that...
He's in the pocket of Big Spring.
I was thinking of like boa constrictors actually.
Oh, I was thinking coil gun, but I figured that was stupid.
Anyway, so
Santa's in the pocket of weapons manufacturer, which actually might make all the Nerf toys boys get makes sense.
there you go.
Heck, there was a Sluggy Freelance storyline where aliens took over Santa's body because they thought he was Earth's chief weapon manufacturer because they were allergic to Nerf. And so they thought, he's distributing all this Nerf weapons to all over the planet.
Wow, hadn't thought of that one. That's cool. So yeah, even when Doctor Who disappoints for a while, for you at least, it can still come back
with awesome,
which is a great strength of the show, right? Because they can just do something new every episode until they come up with good ideas.
Yeah.
I guess that's about it.
Oh yeah. The Brigadier is in Iron Man armor, flying around the universe, shooting aliens in the face.
I say the Brigadier teams up with Jenny, who is mentioned in this episode.
She was.
Yeah, so Brigadier and Jenny spin-off. Go!
Brigadier, Jenny, and the Victorian crew. All teaming together, 5-man band.
Wow. Yeah. That would be interesting.
Together, they fight crime.
Cyberspace
You know
crime.
What? You know what? Do it. Comic book spin-off.
Yeah.
I would buy that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So
Like, you wouldn't even have to get the actors, so you could have him speak and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. You could... Yeah, I don't...
Yeah. Oh, man.
It says something about the value of just... I mean, there's drama in this, definitely. That's interesting. But it's also several doses of unabashed fun.
Oh, my, yes.
Which you're not allowed to have in, like, Man of Steel, for instance. Which is our first review, actually, now I'm thinking of it.
Yeah. What
which
are we up to now?
What, around 57, I think? I'm gonna go look it up. Because I posted so many of these. Thank you to whoever left us a comment last week. That's that's how often we get
our
comments.
first comment in like forever.
You know, whatever.
Okay, this will be episode 57.
So yeah, so note to DC, you know, you're allowed to have fun with your characters. Nerds like that too. It's the reason we play video games. By
Yeah.
the way, video games, you don't always have to be so grim and dark either.
I want to play as Green Lantern. I want to make a giant boxing glove to punch Sinestro in the face.
Oh, you know, I really want to play Psychonauts 2. Because that game deserves to exist. Far more so than Brutal Legend or any of this other stuff Tim Schafer keeps making. Psychonauts, people. Anyway.
I heard Brutal Legend was actually pretty good.
Was
so-
it? Okay. Actually, I heard mixed reviews. I haven't played it myself, so I don't know.
I haven't played it either. I'm just telling you what I've heard.
Okay, then.
Apparently,
Maybe
it's
we'll
about.
review that next if I get a console that plays it.
Well, it's basically a rock star traveling through the land of metal and
Nah, I mean, that
playing
is a cool
rock
idea.
music.
I'll give it as a cool idea. So that was the series finale, whatever you call it.
See, whatever. It's the end
2014,
of Series 8 or whatever.
Series 8, yep.
So the next time we'll see the Doctor, it'll be around Christmas time.
With Santa Claus.
Santa Doctor team up.
That'll be
Santa
cool.
Doctor 2016. They're running on an independent ticket.
Ah, that'd be interesting.
Tagline, because why the hell not?
Yep. Yep. I think that's about it.
Yep.
I think the sign off begins with you.
Oh, right. So anyways, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
We're signing off.